Good morning, guys. So, the last couple days we've studied a different planet each day. We talked about our first planet from the sun, Mercury, the second planet from the sun, Venus, and then yesterday we did a very special planet, the third planet from the sun, which is Earth, which is the planet that we live on. Today we're going to move to the fourth planet in our solar system, which is the planet of Mars. And I've got a model of Mars right here. And what makes Mars very unique is it has this red color. So you can see it's red. And then it has a bunch of dark spots. Those are different volcanoes and mountains that are on Mars. And then another unique fact about Mars is if you think about the Earth has frozen parts at the top and the bottom of it. Remember, we have the Arctic at the top and we have Antarctica at the bottom. And we have those, what we call the polar ice caps. Mars has the same thing. So if you flip Mars, and look at its top, it has frozen north cap and then it also has a frozen cap at the bottom of the planet, just like Earth. So it's a little bit similar. Now, we're going to learn about Mars and why it has this fantastic red color, because that's the thing that is really unique about it, is everybody says it's the red planet. So the nonfiction book we're going to read today is called Mars, Red Rocks and Dust. What planet is rocky and red? Mars. Reddish-brown rocks and dust cover Mars. From far away, the planet looks red. Mars is part of Earth's solar system. It's the fourth planet from the sun. So you have Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. And since it's the fourth planet from the sun, these first four planets are called our rocky planets because they are made up of rock. And then once we get past Mars, it changes a lot. So Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, the last of our rocky planets. How big is Mars? Mars is half as big as Earth, so it's only half the size. So it's a pretty small planet too. Mars has the largest mountain of any planet. It's more than 15 miles high, and this is a view of Mars's largest planet, and it's called Olympus Mons. You can see it right there. That's 3 times higher than Mount Everest. So Mount Everest is the tallest mountain on Earth. Theirs is 3 times higher, their mountain. Mars is very, very cold. Some areas are covered with ice. Remember we saw those white places are covered with ice on Mars? The temperature can drop as low as negative 225 degrees. So it's much colder than Earth. 2 moons circle Mars. They are called Deimos and Phobos. So it's a little bit different. It has 2 moons. So far we talked about Mercury, which didn't have any moons. Venus, which didn't have any moons. Then the Earth had 1 moon, and so Mars actually has 2 moons. There is very little oxygen in Mars's atmosphere. Humans would need space suits to breathe there. So we couldn't just walk around and live there. For one, it'd be too cold, and for two, we wouldn't have the oxygen. More than 40 unmanned spacecrafts have been sent to Mars. Some have even landed on Mars's rocky surface. Maybe someday people will also visit Mars. So they send these spacecrafts, and this is actually a picture on Mars. So you can see that red rocky surface. So we're going to compare Mars to Earth. So Mars is the 4th planet from the sun, so it's a little bit further from the sun than Earth, and Earth is the 3rd planet. So Mars is 4,000 miles across. The Earth is almost 8,000, so remember, twice as big. So the average temperature is negative 81 degrees on Mars, so it's much colder than Earth's. Our average temperature is 59 degrees. Mars has 2 moons, and we have 1 moon. And what's interesting about Mars is there's a reason why it has that red color. On its surface, on its soil has a lot of iron in it. So think about this. Have you guys ever left something metal out in the rain, like they tell you not to leave your bike out in the rain, and you leave it out in the rain and it gets wet? What happens to that metal after it gets wet? A lot of times it does what? It rusts. It turns that brown, reddish color. That's why Mars has that red tint, is it's got a lot of iron inside of the soil on its surface. That's one of the interesting facts about Mars. We also have some vocabulary words. Some of these words we've already talked about. Atmosphere. is the layers of gases that surround a planet. So Mars's atmosphere, remember, we couldn't be at without a spacesuit because it doesn't have as much oxygen as our atmosphere does. And oxygen, remember, is that colorless gas that we breathe in. The solar system, remember, is the sun and everything that goes around it. And an unmanned spacecraft is just a vehicle that travel in space and don't carry people. Now remember, sometimes when they drop down on the ground, they call it a rover because it roves around on top of the surface. So what you're going to do next is you're going to connect to Seesaw and you're going to get to draw, remember our picture of Mars, because Mars looks very different from Mercury, from Venus, from Earth, and Earth. So very different. You're going to draw a picture of Mars on Seesaw, and then you're going to tell me some facts that you learned about the planet Mars today. Okay? All right, you guys did an awesome job. Thank you.